Hello everyone. Today I will talk about the mistake make when learning English and how to avoid it. My name is Alex Lau. This is my group member Wen Xiefa. So I will start now. Learn English or any foreign language in a challenging but reward process for non-native speaker. Mistakes are inevitable in this journey. However, it is important to understand that these mistakes are part of the learning experience. The key is not about to avoid mistakes completely, but to learn from them and develop strategies to avoid repeating them in the future. In this essay, I will discuss some of the most common mistakes learners make when learning English, and more importantly, how Sefa will explain how to avoid them. First is mistake in pronunciation. On the most significant challenges in learning English is pronunciation. English has many words that are not pronounced the way they are written, which can confuse learn. For example, words like truth and truth all have different pronunciation but look quite similar in writing. Mispronouncing would not only make it harder for others to understand you but also affect your confidence in speaking.
Okay, now the problem solving is to avoid pronunciation mistakes. The best approach is to listen to native speakers regularly. Watching English movies, listening to podcasts, and mimicking the pronunciation of native speakers can help learners improve. Another useful strategy is using pronunciation tools or apps. They provide audio example of words. It is also important to practice speaking aloud and record yourself to hear and correct mistakes.
Second is incorrect use of article. Many learners struggle with the use of article in English. The English language use a and enter, which do not exist in many other languages. This can cause a confusing, leading learners to omit article or use them incorrectly. For example, saying I am a student instead for I am a student, or I went to the school when speaking about a general school instead of a specific one.
To avoid making mistake with article, it is crucial to understand the rules of article usage. At and N are used with singular countable nouns, while the is used for specific things. For example, I saw a cat. I saw the cat. That both the speaker and listener know. Listener should practice using articles in context and real English tests to become familiar with their usage.
Third is overusing or underusing proposition. Proposition are another area where learners often make mistakes. English prepositions such as in, on, by, and for are tricky because they often don't have a direct equivalent in other languages. For example, in many languages, the preposition in is used for both time and place, but in English, in is used for leisure space, and on is used for surface the table.
To avoid mistakes with prepositions, learners should pay attention to common collocations and expressions in English, or in tests on the bus, in the car, at the station, by the door. A clear way to learn is to memorize set phrases and practice them in conversation. Over time, the correct preposition usage will start to feel more natural.
Or is confusing tenses. English has many tenses, and it can be difficult for learners to know when to use each one. A common mistake is using the present simple tenses when the present continuous tense is needed, such as saying read now instead of I am reading now. Similarly, learn often confuse the past simple and present perfect tense. For example, saying I had go to the store yesterday instead of I went to the store yesterday.
To avoid mistake with tenses, it is essential to understand the rules governing each tense. Learners should focus on learning when and why each tense is used. For instance, the present continuous tense describes actions happening right now, while the present perfect tense is used for actions that have occurred at an specific time before now. Practicing both conjugations and sentences structure will help learners gain confidence in using the correct tense.
Fourth is direct translation from native language. One of the most common mistakes learners make is direct translating sentences from their native language into English. This is especially true for languages that have very different sentence structure from English. For instance, in someone language, the verb comes at the end of a sentence, but in English, the subject, verb, object order is typically used. If you translate a sentence like I'm breakfast eat from your native language direct into English, you end up with something that sounds strange and incorrect.
To avoid these mistakes, learners should focus on thinking directly in English rather than translating. This can be achieved by practicing similar sentences and gradually increasing complexity as you become more comfortable with the language. Immersing yourself in English-speaking environments rather by listening to English media, reading books, or speaking with native speakers helps you start thinking in English naturally.
This is not practicing speaking enough. Many English learners focus on reading, writing, and listening skills but neglect speaking. However, speaking practice is essential for building fluency. Without practicing speaking, it is easy to forget important vocabulary, sentence structure, and grammar rules that you aren't.
To improve speaking skills, learners should seek out opportunities to practice speaking regularly. This could be through language exchange program, joining English clubs, or using online platform to communicate with native speakers. Even practicing speaking in form of a mirror or recording your own voice can help. The key is to practice speaking as often as possible and not be afraid of making mistakes.
Seven is overcomplicating grammar rules. English grammar can be quite complex, and learners often try to memorize every single rule before they feel confident speaking. This can lead to hesitation and anxiety when trying to use the language. In reality, overcomplicating grammar rules can hinder communication and causes you to be cautious in speaking.
Rather than focusing too much on perfect grammar, learners should practice communicating effectively. Grammar is important, but it should not become an obstacle to speaking. Begin by mastering basic sentences structure and gradually add more complex grammar as you become more comfortable. Don't be afraid to make mistakes. They are a natural part of learning. In the conclusions, learning English, like any language, is full of challenges and mistakes are inevitable. However, these mistakes are not failure. They are stepping stones to improvement by understand common errors, such as incorrect pronunciation, misuse of articles, preposition mistakes, text confusion, direct translation, and not practicing speaking enough. Learners can take steps to above them with passion, consistent practice, and a readiness to learn from mistakes. Anyone can improve their English skill and become a more confident and effective communicator. Remember, the goal is not perfection, but progress.
Thank you
That
for
all from well. Thank you.
thank you for your listening to that. That is my all presentation. Thank you.
Thank you.